All right, welcome back to another one of our film reviews. Today we are talking Green Bay Packers rookie defensive lineman Warren Brinson. Brenson, folks, is getting better and better, and he's earning more and more playing time in this Packers defensive line rotation, and he's making plays. We'll break down everything he's doing so well, as always, in the comment section below. Give us any feedback you might have. If you're a fan of these film reviews and want to help support us so we can do more of them, consider becoming a member of our channel. There's a link in the description box below that will take you right there. But without further ado, let's jump right into the film. All right, let's open up with some pass rush, and there's Warren Brinson lined up right there, and we'll call it a two-eye technique on the inside eye of the guard right there. And this is going to be a pretty creative design here by the Packers. They're going to fire 58 on a blitz this direction, but it's actually become a stunt going that way, and Brinson's going to eventually loop back around, and they're going to drop the three technique into coverage just like this. It's really creative because normally when you have a zone blitz concept where you drop someone in coverage and fire a linebacker, you normally don't pair it with a stunt like Green Bay does, and it creates all kind of confusion for the Minnesota Vikings up front. But I want you guys to watch Brenson. He does a great job on the execution. He attacks upfield before he loops around, ends up getting in on the sack. Great job by the rookie. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. Here comes the pressure. Pocket collapses. They make the play. Get him on the ground. Nice job. All right, let's break this all the way down. Going all the way back to the beginning here. You can see the zone blitz. Nicely done. There's the stunt. A really good execution, guys, but watch 91. It's the little things, right? He fires out, attacks the center, and then waits for 58 to come through before he loops around. The timing on stunts is absolutely critical. How many times do we see, looking at the broadcast footage or the film, where the stunt, the lead guy, and the guy who's trails run into each other right there, and it creates a massive humanity, and the offensive line is able to pick it up? It's all about timing. And again, this is an unusual stunting combination, right? You got to backup rookie defensive tackle and a blitzing linebacker. Should not be this crisp. At least you would think it wouldn't be, but the Packers execute it, right? It goes back to coaching, and more importantly, it goes back to Warren Brinson as a young player coming into his own. As we get closer to Thanksgiving, it's these rookies are going to kind of emerge as veterans, right? They're playing a lot of football, obviously. We're up into the double-digit games played so far this season across the board. So we're starting to see rookies mature. We're starting to see rookies figure it out. And when you see guys like Warren Brinson get more snaps and start making more plays, that's a sign that this young playmaker is coming into his own. Nice job here by 91. All right, for the wide copy, get a really good look at it right here. Watch how Brenson waits for 58 to clear. This is really good. He fires out into him. The moment he sees 58 flash in front of him, then he loops around, powers through the trash, ends up getting half the sack right there, splitting it with his teammate. This is really darn good, guys. I mean, you talk about execution. I would expect this kind of execution on a stunt when you had maybe, Wyatt number 1, for example. I would expect this kind of execution on a rookie and a linebacker. This is what makes the Green Bay defense, I think, so darn good, because they all play at this level, but it only works if you have rookies like Warren Brinson who are able and willing to step up. Nice job. All right, sticking with the pass rush, there's Warren Brinson right there, line up in a 3 technique on the outside shoulder of the Minnesota Vikings right guard. So what the Vikings are going to do is they're going to have the play side of the protection, which is these 3 guys in this particular play. They're all going to take the gap to the right. So the right tackle is going to take this gap, the right guard is going to take this gap, and the center is going to take this gap, which means we're going to be man-on-man on the backside. Man-to-man here and man-to-man here. Now, obviously, with number 1 all the way over here on the edge, and you've got a gap protection, it basically becomes a double team where the tackle goes out to him, and the guard's expecting to help him, which means the center right here is one-on-one on Warren Brinson. That's a lot of grass to cover. So I love what Brinson does here. He does a great job beating the center, getting pressure right in the quarterback's face. Let's check it out. There's a snap. Here comes the pressure. 52 and 91. Short throw. Drops it. Rough day for the Vikings offense. All right, let's look at Warren Brinson. I love how everything he does is vertical first. See how he gets up the field 2 steps in the ground first? I love that so much. It sounds like a little thing, guys, but getting some pocket penetration, pushing the offensive lineman back to the quarterback from a defensive tackle perspective is paramount. So many young defensive tackles in pass rush situations, they think of themselves as defensive ends and they try and get width. Brinson, he's always up the field. See how he works through the center, though, with his hands, too? Look at his right hand right there. He's high, not great pad level. Center's in a good spot. He's not. But see how he shucks him with his right hand? One of the things I loved about 91 coming out of college, and he showed this a lot in preseason, was he uses his length and his leverage to move linemen. The one question I had with him when it came to Brinson was, could he use that leverage when it came time to the regular season? And guys, we're starting to see it right here. Watch him just shuck the center, get pressure right in the quarterback's face. Nice job. All right, from the wide copy, watch Brinson right here. Again, work through the center, shuck him aside, right in the quarterback's face. Now you can see, obviously, Gary comes around. He delivers the big pressure and the big hit. Nice job right there by Rashawn Gary. But how about Warren Brinson? Again, kind of an under-the-radar prospect when it comes to this defensive line. A lot of people focus on the veteran groups. If you're looking at young guys, a lot of people look at Devontae Wyatt, and for good reason. But I tell you what, 91, he's coming along, Packers fans. A little bit of a slow start. We saw him make some plays against Arizona when there were some injuries up front. Now he's getting more and more playing time, working his way into the rotation, and like we see here, there's a good reason for it. He's becoming a playmaker up front. All right, how about some run defense? And there's Warren Brinson right there, line up in a 2-eye technique on the inside eye of the left guard right there for the Minnesota Vikings. Just a quick reminder, a 2-eye is on the inside eye of the guard. A 3 technique would be on the outside shoulder like we see right over here. And this is going to be a standard inside zone concept. So the Vikings are going to bring a man in motion pre-snap and just try and cut people off on the backside just like this. We're going to get base reach there, base there, base there, and we're going to get a base reach here, left guard on Brenson. And the running back's going to take the handoff and try and find a hole wherever he can. Now you can see by the structure of the defense here for the Packers, they got these 3 guys over here. It's probably going to cut back either right up the hash or behind Brenson. So Warren Brinson, number 91, he needs to do a good job. Make sure he doesn't get reach, hold his gap, but also potentially play off for the cutback. The rookie does a phenomenal job. Let's check it out. Pre-snap motion. There's a snap. There's a handoff. Good defense, good tackle, good job across the board. Let's look how 91 plays this. See how he stays parallel to line of scrimmage at all times? That's what I look for in run defense from defensive linemen. Right here. Notice knees, hips, helmet, everything parallel to line of scrimmage. He's not turned. Where's his eyes, guys? Is he in the right gap? Yes, sir, right there. Perfect position. He's covered up the gap, forces the cutback, and then he plays off the block to make the tackle. Does he give up any movement? Nope. Holds his ground, doesn't get driven back at all, fights off the block. I mean, this is just checking the box kind of run defense. One of the things for disruptive defensive tackles, especially those with length like Warren Brinson, playing the run inside can sometimes be a weak point. Not for 91, guys. He uses, again, his leverage pretty darn good. He's a lot higher than I would like for a defensive tackle in terms of pad level, but he uses his size, he uses his smarts, he does his job, and he makes a play just like we see here. Good work. All right, for the wide copy, get a really good look at Brenson right there in the middle of your screen. There's a snap. There's a handoff. Fights off the block. Part of the tackle. Good job by the Vikings running back. I think that's Aaron Jones, right? Yeah, Aaron Jones. Listen, Green Bay fans, you don't need me to tell you. He's a hard runner, right? He's always been that way. You know, obviously good player for a long time for the Pack and doing good things with Minnesota too, if we're being totally honest. But let's watch Brenson right here. Fire onto the guard. Look at that extension. You talk about length and leverage. Folks, that's what you're talking about here. I don't think we understand how freakishly long Warren Brinson's arms are and how well he uses them. Because right here, face mask to face mask, we're in hand-to-hand combat. Watch that extension. This offensive lineman can't even quite reach all the way to Brenson. And I tell you what, these guards, guys, these guys have long arms too. It just speaks to the length and leverage of 91. He uses it beautifully here. Where's the line of scrimmage? The 36? Watch where the offensive lineman gets walked back to about the 35, even a step behind it. So not only does Brenson not surrender any movement, he actually walks the offensive lineman back a yard, resets the line of scrimmage. You can see right there, no dent in the defense, and he's able to fight off the block just as well and make the tackle. A+ run defense here from Warren Brinson. All right, going back to the pass rush, and there's Warren Brinson right there, line up in a 2-eye technique on the inside eye of the Vikings left guard. So the protection here for the play side, which is these 3 guys, they're all going to take the gap to their right. That's going to be right tackle that gap, right guard that gap, center that gap right there, which means man-on-man on the backside, man-on-man right there, and man-on-man right there. Now, when it comes to any non-Micah Parsons Green Bay Packers, which of course Warren Brinson is, number one, he is a disruptive force. So whether he's doing it with speed on the outside, going through offensive linemen, doing inside moves, I mean, he's just a wrecking crew. So what you want to do is you want to push offensive linemen back into the quarterback. You want to create a collapsing pocket because he's going to create all kind of havoc from his side. If you can push the offensive lineman back, you can create just a collapse around the quarterback, and he just feels the pressure and just destroys the entire game plan. That's the exact approach Warren Brinson uses here and what he used all game and why I'm excited about his fit for this Green Bay defense going forward. Let's check it out. There's a snap. Pressure comes. Short throw. Decent little gain. Good job again. Aaron Jones. I tell you what, good player, right? Let's look at Warren Brinson here. What does he do? Just straight bull rush right back to the quarterback. Is this a pressure? Is this a quarterback hit? No. But I love his approach. I love his mentality. Because on this particular play, Micah Parsons doesn't win. It's the NFL. You're not going to win every single time. The Vikings do a pretty good job on the edge. So McCarthy right here should have time, right? He should be able to look downfield. They got Micah Parsons blocked. You should be looking down the field for a kill shot to one of their receivers. But because Brinson is pushing the guard back into his lap, right there, he immediately goes check down. When you have pressure because of number 1, 52, or blitzers all game long, quarterbacks are always worried about just getting absolutely killed. And that's what the Packers, of course, did, sacking McCarthy 5 times. But when they have it picked up, the Vikings have it picked up here, the one thing that can continue to stop the offensive rhythm is walking the guard back, denting the quarterback, making sure the quarterback, even though Parsons is blocked, still feels the discomfort. That's what Brenson does here. Nice job. All right, from the wide copy, get a really good look at Brenson in the middle of the field. Watch him walk this offensive line back. So right here, you're trying to go downfield. You have Parsons blocked. Right here, J.J. McCarthy's looking downfield. He wants to hit a big play. But what does he see in front of him? His offensive lineman just falling back towards his face. Okay, go check down. There you go. That's how you win, right? Even when the opposition blocks your great pass rushers, if you can get some push in the pocket like we see here, quarterbacks will feel like they have to hit the check down because that internal clock is going to be about 2 seconds. It's like, okay, is someone open? And right here, he may be thinking, maybe someone's going to be open. Maybe someone's going to have a chance to get open deep. But the moment he feels that offensive lineman fall back to him, he's like, I got to go check down, right? Because I know Parsons is going to come eventually. If my guys up front at the center guard position, if they get walked back too, I'm dead to rights. Got to hit the check down. That's what Brenson does here. That's what he'll provide going forward. All right, sticking with the pass rush, and there's Warren Brinson right here lined up, and I'll call that a wide 3 technique. You can make an argument it's a 4-eye by a lineman, but he's basically a wide defensive lineman in a pass rush situation. You can see Micah Parsons is all the way over here, and of course, he's going to get a lot of attention. Now, anytime you got 3 defensive linemen on one side of the offensive line, you know something's funky is coming right around the corner, and that's exactly what we get here. We're going to get a stunt. 95 works this way. We got Warren Brinson working around. He does a good job looping around, getting pressure on the quarterback. Can't quite get him on the ground, but it was a good stunt. Let's check it out. There's a snap. Here comes the pressure. Quarterback has to get off the spot. Again, check down. Minimal gain. This is how the Packers are so tough. Because again, they get a lot of bodies on Parsons. Look at this. They got 3 guys looking at number 1. What does that mean? It means you get one-on-one opportunities over here. You run the stunt. There's the pressure. McCarthy has to throw it to the check down. Even when teams block Micah Parsons, like they do here with a lot of bodies, they got 1,000 pounds over here trying to stop Micah Parsons. You have guys like Warren Brinson emerging that can run stunts and one-on-one pass rushes, bull rushes like we saw in the previous play that can generate pressure. And situations like this are so tough for opposing offenses. Because right here, Brinson, again, does a great job. He waits for 95 to clear, loops around, stays tight, forces the quarterback pressure, hits the check down. Good defense. All right, for the wide copy, good look at Warren Brinson in the middle of the screen right there. Loops around, gets the pressure. Quarterback has to shovel it to the check down. Again, all the attention on number 1 at the bottom of your screen, but they have a sub-defensive lineman in. Warren Brinson's in the game, right? Right here, the Minnesota Vikings are like, okay, if we handle number 1, we should be able to handle everybody else, but they can't. And that's what Brinson provides. You see a really good job right here, once again, waiting for the lead to clear, loops around on the stunt, gets the pressure, can't quite get the sack. He lays out there. He's so close to getting another sack. But it's one of those things with number 91. Just generating the pressure. It just makes the quarterback totally uncomfortable. And guys, if they're able to generate pass rush when they have their sub-defensive package in the game, when people are double-teaming Micah Parsons, no team will be able to score on Green Bay. There's just no options, right? And that's why this Packers defense is playing so good as of late. All right, one of my favorite plays from Warren Brinson I've seen the entire season, and there he is right there, lined up in a 1 technique on the outside shoulder of the center, and you can see 81, the tight end, is lined up behind center right now. It's going to be a quarterback sneak, and the Minnesota Vikings trying to sneak it in there to get a first down, but Brinson, again, more as a leverage guy, more as a pass rusher, he blows this play up, helps keep the Vikings short of the line to gain. Let's check it out. There's a snap, nowhere to go, blown up, good stuff. All right, you can see Hawkinson, he's trying to go to the right. You can see right there, and they're slanting to that spot, the linebacker, and I think, who's that other defensive tackle? I think 93 gets in there and blows it up too. But you know who makes the play? Brenson, because that's where the double team is. Look what happens to the center and guard. They both get twisted. Brinson's right there to create a wall. Because we see on these quarterback sneaks all the time, although it's a tight end in the situation, that the initial surge can be there. The linebacker and defensive lineman, in this case, on the right side, they get the initial surge. But the double team, the movement right there, when you get 2 bodies on a defensive lineman, they get a little bit of movement, and the sneaker is able to just kind of squeak through and get the yardage. But because Brinson does a great job holding his ground right there, look at that technique. He's trying to get skinny, knee to ground, getting small, low pad level, low man wins in this situation, and 91 here. Great job. Again, the little things with Warren Brinson, an underrated player. Talking about a playmaker, again, it's guys like this that show up sub-package defensive linemen that can get in the game and blow up quarterback sneaks. Great job by Brinson. All right, from the wide copy, you can see Brinson right there in the middle of the screen, stuffs it. That's so good. And there he is right there, creating that wall. No movement, massive humanity. Good team defense across the board, but it only works stopping quarterback sneaks in this situation if you've got guys that use good technique. Watch Brenson. Watch how low he gets. See how he gets his knee to the ground. You can see it right there. Man, that's good technique. That's what they teach you to do. See how he gets skinny, gets horizontal. Perfect. Creates a pile. Good stuff. Great job. All right, sticking with the running game, there's Warren Brinson right there, lined up as a 3 technique on the outside shoulder of the guard. So it's going to be a downhill concept here for the Minnesota Vikings. So they're going to get a double team right here, working up to the linebacker. They're going to pull the backside guard to kick out the defensive end. Center's going to block back. The running back's just going to try and hit the hole where he can find a space. And Brinson doesn't do a bad job here on the double team right here, but he doesn't do a great job. At least he frees up the linebacker to make the tackle. That's good. But he's a little inconsistent with his techniques when he gets caught up thinking it's a passing situation and he gets run blocked. Let's check it out. There's a snap, inside run, a little bit of a crease. Not a huge play, but still not great up front. Watch Warren Brinson right here. Right, he does okay, holds his ground, doesn't get blown off the football or anything, not terrible. But compared to what we saw in the quarterback sneak, the technique, where's the knee to the ground? Where's getting skinny? Not quite there, right? And look, it feels like a pass rush situation. So he's ready to come off the football and get pressure on the quarterback, which I completely understand, and I feel you, man. Get after the quarterback. You're doing a great job. But when you realize it's a run and a double team right here, switch to a double team defense. Get that knee to the ground. Get skinny. Create a pile. Not that it would have made a huge difference on this play, but you never know in big moments, right, where teams try and cross you up. I think one of the things that helped teams like the Cowboys move the football and the Packers defensively is that they were able to attack them with sort of off strategy plays. So, for example, in a passing situation, they'd run the football with their offensive line and their running game for some success. And the way you can beat that is you have defensive linemen that can play both. They're versatile. They can understand, okay, pass rush, nope, it's a double team, get to a run defense. Warren Brinson, not quite there yet. Something he needs to work on going forward. All right, for the wide copy, you can see Brenson right there. There's a double team. Again, not terrible. Doesn't get pancaked or anything, so far from a disaster. But where's the technique? He's too high, doesn't get his knee to the ground, doesn't try and get skinny. Again, he thinks it's a passing situation, so he comes off in a pass rush mode. And listen, I give him credit. He occupies 2 blockers, and it's a minimal gain. It's not like it's a huge crease. But this is something, again, where right here, you know it's a run, get that knee to the ground, create a pile, get skinny, right? Don't kind of get walked out of the hole right here. It's something for him to improve on. Again, not a disaster play or anything like that. It's sort of advanced level football. But listen, man, if you want to take that next step, the ability to transition to pass rush to run defense in a situation like this, that's key. Something for 91 to improve on. All right, let's end on another pass rush. There's Warren Brinson right there, line up in a 3 technique on the outside shoulder of the guard right there. So the play side of the protection is going to be these 3 guys on this play, and they're all going to take the gap to their left. So the tackle's going to take this gap, left guard's going to take this gap, center's going to take this gap, which means 1-on-1 right here on Brinson. And listen, 3 techniques, defensive tackles, they love this situation when you're 1-on-1 because you got a 3-way go. You can go outside move, you can go inside move, or you can go through him. And Brinson does a little through him action here, and he does a great job. Again, gets pressure on the quarterback. Let's check it out. There's a snap. Here comes the pass rush. Pressure the quarterback. Has to hit the check down. That's how you dominate, guys. Force the quarterback to take sacks or check downs, right? Great defense. Watch 91. Look at that right arm. Strike the offensive lineman. Get around him. Offensive lineman flat on his face. Pressure to the quarterback. I mean, you cannot win if you're a quarterback if you've got a defensive tackle right around your feet like this, especially with number 1 around you. I think this is just so good. And this is what Warren Brinson has quickly become, an extraordinary playmaker. Not perfect, but he's good against the run, can step up in key moments, and boy, oh boy, is he a good pass rusher. This rookie is quickly emerging as a big-time weapon for this Packers defense.